welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. Thanks again for watching another terrific edition of the EQ Video Tip. Before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? Well, we have a great episode about ways to de-escalate emotional situations. And let's face it, we find ourselves in emotional situations that are highly charged all the time, whether at home, at work, with friends. And two authors, Joe Navarro and Ann Ode, present us with several different ways to de-escalate those situations, as well as calm ourselves and control our emotions, as opposed to having them work against us. Let's face it, there's nothing worse than getting into an argument with someone, and the more angry you get or the more stubborn you get, the less that person wants to agree with you, wants to collaborate with you, wants to be with you for that matter. We're going to jump in. It's a great double episode. Let's get into the first tip right now. Tip number 1, stay calm and use your body as a medium. The first thing you need to do is stay calm. Why would we want to stay calm? Well, many times when you come in and you're all fired up, people perceive that as a threat. So if you can take a moment to take a deep breath, control your emotions, think about what's going on, and show your hands. Give them a way to see that your hands are in front of you, that you're not in this fighting pose or mean stance or something like that, that you're actually going to relax your shoulders. You're going to give good body language, not cross your arms like this, but create a relaxed environment. Even a smile, something like that, will help them to de-escalate what you're doing. Remember, stay calm and use your body as a medium for calmness. Tip number 2, listen and then of course validate. And one of the biggest skills that you can use in EQ is listening. So actually listen to what the person says, even if you don't agree with it, but words have meaning, and it's important to listen to them. No matter how illogical or how wrong or how emotional those things are, listen to them and then validate them. And it's important to validate these people's feelings, because someone may be upset about something that you're not upset about or disagree with you on something, but it's important that you don't necessarily agree, but that you validate and are empathetic. Empathy is a huge piece of EQ and a huge piece of de-escalating conflict. So summarize their words, and then if possible, ask for more information or validate and saying, hey, I understand how you're feeling, or I understand this is making you upset. Maybe not how they're feeling. I understand it's making you upset, or I understand you disagree, and here's what I want to do about it. Remember, listen, and then of course, validate. Tip number 3, don't judge and ask open-ended questions. You may not agree with something that someone is arguing, but that's not your role. Your role is to calm people down. You shouldn't tell them they can't feel a certain way. Instead, let them vent, let them talk, and then ask an open question. Say something like, I'm sorry to hear about what you went through. That must have been awful. Can you elaborate a little more? Can you tell me more about it? So you get an opportunity to be more empathetic and not a judge of their emotions. Again, don't judge, but ask open-ended questions. Our last tip, hard as it may seem at times, check your ego at the door. Remember, there's no winner or loser here. It's not a battle to be won. It's actually something where we want to find harmony. We want to get back to that emotional harmony between you and that other person or whoever is having the conflict. By trying to suggest that you might be winning an argument or putting your ego out there that, hey, I'm right and this person's wrong, you're actually going to lose the argument in the long run or lose the emotional battle that you're trying to calm. So take a moment, check your ego at the door, and find a way to restore that harmonial balance. That's right for this week's EQ video tip. Remember to follow us next time so you can find the other tips on how to de-escalate conflict, whether at home, work, or with friends. It's important to understand that these tips can be used in different manners to help you de-escalate conflict with someone else. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating
some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.